Welcome back to Tiny Grimes Games, and I'm here with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. And today I want to talk about, with the new patch, the changes to Poe, the changes to speed, and incomplete patch notes. So I think the best way to summarize this is having Yoda help us out.
Change. There is uncertainty all around. Yes.
Yeah, I think that summarizes things pretty well. We've had a huge change in speed. So for those of you who didn't quite understand how speed used to work, it was kind of murky. It was basically people were divided into different tiers of speed, and basically as long as you were 143 or above, you were in that first group. And then when the battle started, the coin would be flipped, and it would decide who's 143 or above went first. The problem, of course, was Poe Dameron was exactly 143, so he became this flashpoint problem where if one person's Poe went first, diminished all the speed of all the other guys on the other team. Suddenly all your guys are going now, and there was a chance that before your opponent could really get going, half the guys would be dead. And so people got really frustrated that this was kind of a 50-50 shot at whose Poe got to go first. So I really like the change they made, and now the way speed works is exactly how you would think it would work. Whoever has the faster guy, that guy goes first. So Count Dooku and his 161 speed, if there's no one else buffed, he is going to be the guy who goes first every time. Also, this means you can know that he has a chance to stun somebody. So you can plan, I think, a lot better. It also makes it a lot easier for this company to go ahead and balance, right? It was a lot harder to balance when you had like, well, Poe Dameron's fast. We can't really fix this problem by making somebody faster. This way you can. You can just say, okay, Poe's a little bit too quick. We'll just knock him down 3 points so that he's behind X character, and that maybe can be a balancing factor. And I don't just mean for Poe, of course, but I mean moving forward for any character that seems to be problematic because speed is so critical. And so looking at these speed changes, we now have a very interesting change where we have for the free-to-play player, Darth Sidious is really good. He's the second fastest. The Geonosian Soldier is fifth fastest, and he's really strong also. Pago the Lesser is now the same as Poe. So we have a whole bunch of characters that have been strong, but now are perhaps even stronger. What's really cool is Yoda's super fast. He's fourth fastest, and Qui-Gon with his boost to other Jedi as a speed leader basically makes Yoda the fastest guy in the game, which is pretty cool. That's another thing that got changed. It used to be that if a leader gave a speed bonus, it didn't count for the first turn. Now it does. So you can really plan carefully, and I really like that. Now, that's the positive, right? The negative, of course, is that Poe Dameron is less useful. I'll admit, though, I think he's still quite good. I haven't done full testing as much as I would like to. I've been incredibly sick for the last week, so I've been just kind of hanging on for dear life, let alone really exploring all the options. So it'll have to be next week when I get really into new lineups and that kind of stuff. But from what I found, Poe is still effective, if not as effective. His speed dropped 1 due to an accidental nerf, is what they're saying, which is really not that relevant with the way speed has changed. It puts him behind Rey and the Hoth Rebel Scout now, which, I mean, Rey's pretty terrifying, actually, if they have a 7-star Rey doing a ton of damage. But other than that, it's not that bad to have him drop 1. I think what people are most upset about is the incomplete patch notes. So EA released these patch notes, and everyone kind of said, oh, Poe's getting this really minor nerf. I still feel comfortable putting all of my eggs in the Poe Dameron basket, knowing that he's still going to be really good. I'm okay with that. I'm going to keep going down this path. Things are going to work out fine for me. And then speed itself completely changes, and suddenly Poe is not as good, and not just Poe, but everything sort of blows up, and now there's all these other armies that might be good, which is a really awesome thing, but the other side, not being able to plan for it is really tough, because this game is all about resource management and being incredibly careful about how you're spending your resources because they're so limited. And so I think people were really upset that they felt like there was some sort of hornswoggling or trickery happening here where EA was like, yes, put it all into Poe, you fools. And I think that's not what happened. My sources have told me that It was an oversight, right? It's a huge patch. The patch notes have all of this information, and that part got left out. Now, to us, especially the free-to-play player trying to plan, that was by far the most important part of the patch notes, right? If you look at it from EA's side, though, I think that was not quite as important, because for them, it's like, we have this cool new thing, a shard shop. We have this new thing, the Yoda event that's happening, like all these new cool things, whereas the speed change is a relatively minor thing for them, whereas on our side, it's the most critical thing. So let's look at some options for the speed changes. There's so many cool possibilities now. I'm not saying these lineups are going to be good, but having somebody like Akbar suddenly give a speed boost right at the start. Now maybe a Rebel lineup could be good with Luke and Han, and of course Leia's amazing already, but she's not for the free-to-play player. But the point is, we might actually be able to use good characters, like known characters from the movies, right? Wouldn't it be cool if Luke was one of the best characters, and Han, and then maybe a Jedi lineup with Yoda and Anakin? It would be pretty fun, I think, to have a change in the metagame where the cool characters from the movies were the best, because we've had some really interesting metas where like Jawas were the best for a little while, and recently droids were the best, and you're looking at that and you're like, well, I mean, I know who IG-88 is, he's kind of cool, sort of, but IG-86, who's that guy, HK something or other? How about I just play Luke and Mace Windu and all these guys from the movies that were awesome? Can we do that? So I really like the possibility that maybe we're going to move in that direction. I'm not entirely sure what the new top lineup is going to be. I've actually been using my droids lineup because I'm all in on that lineup. It's going to take me a while to recover from this. And they're still doing fine. They're not as dominant as they were, but so far I've been happy with them. So I'll get back to you probably early next week with a more elaborate take on what I think are the new directions for free-to-play players to go. And I think it's going to be somewhat varied. I think we have choices now, rather than just being like, listen, you're Poe or you're dead. So it should be exciting move. It also gives, like I said, EA so much room to tweak minor things or add a new character in there. I'm really excited for the speed change, and I think you should be too. I think you'll really like it in the end. So thanks again for stopping by, and I'll see you next time on Tiny Grams Games.